Shalom, my name is Yehonatan Ben Devoy. Welcome to my men's channel. Anyways, this is going to be my video on if you want to become a man of power, then learn the rules for logic. Alright, the reasoning why I say that is because there are things that come right out and happen outside of our control, and then they require you to not only know investigative techniques, but also know how to debate in and of itself. So if you want to learn the rule, so when it comes down to that, learn the rules for logic. Here are a few examples of the rules for logic. One example would have to be the ambiguity fallacy. For instance, if you have an instruction given to you, or read a law, and so on and so forth, you you look at the instruction or that law in and of itself, and you look at the terms that it uses, if they are subjective, or if they are, if they are explicit, or whatever. If they are subjective in and of itself, then there's ambiguity. And you can't make an adequate assessment as towards what that is without there being some knowledge in and of itself, i.e., something wherewith you know for certain is basically not something that you know for certain that isn't that is more concrete, more explicit. Then there you go. If something is, let's say, the straw man fallacy. The straw man fallacy, in and of itself, it requires you to make a caricature of the other person's argument. Well, if you were truly listening and actually trying to understand the other person's position, then you would actually ask them questions. You see, this is why people like Andrew Wilson ask questions in the beginning, because they don't want to strawman it, essentially. The more you understand by asking questions, the easier it becomes for you to understand the other person's position. Another one would have to be the red herring, like throwing up some sort of distraction, like saying that has nothing to do with the argument in the first place. It's basically a deflection. Another logical fallacy is an appeal to, an appeal to the majority. Who knows whether or not that majority is indicative of the whole population? You don't know. Another example would have to be I forget what I was going to say. The other fallacy. Well, anyways, point being, learn the rules for logic. Just learn them. When you learn the rules for logic and know how to adequately assess your perspective and have gone through it over in time, and also have actually illustrated the fact that, basically have illustrated that your perspective is actually logical, then there you go. One of the things that I do is I'm a linguist of sorts. I actually have several students where I'm teaching biblical Hebrew right now. But also at the exact same time, one of the things that I do as well is I actually provide logical arguments for people who, against anti-missionaries in and of itself. For people who are, basically, who believe in Yeshua, or rather, what the populace know, Jesus. His Hebrew name being Yeshua. Anyways, and one example of a logical fallacy from an anti-missionary would be that the Messiah has to cause world peace. Well, that is an evidence why Yeshua isn't the Messiah, because he hasn't achieved world peace. Well, let me run through it. Show me anywhere inside of the Tanakh that says when the Messiah shows up on the scene, the world peace will be achieved. Or better yet, show me anywhere inside of the Tanakh that comes right out and says the Messiah must cause world peace in his lifetime. These are valid questions. And basically, I know for certain that none of those passages exist in the Tanakh. Yet, somehow, for some odd reason, people like anti-missionaries who believe in the same faith I do, they throw those up there and saying, we got you, yada yada. Well, pal, no, you didn't. Your whole perspective is built off of sand in the fact that it's ambiguity. It falls under the ambiguity fallacy. And since they lob that objection at me in and of itself, since it never once states that, then ultimately it becomes a straw man fallacy. So, right then and there, when you show them the error of their ways in that regard, then they have to deflect and go through something else, and it ultimately shows that they are not interested in truth, that they are not interested in hashing things out to get to truth. If they were interested in it, then they would consider those questions, and then they would consider your perspective as well. So, I sure hope that this blesses you. Thank you.